Okay, first I will try to present quickly the Burkina Faso's investment climate, followed by Burkina Faso geology and mines, and then Burkina Faso geography and infrastructures. Finally, Burkina Faso comparative advantages in terms of investment in the mining sector. That is Burkina Faso, about 275,000 square kilometers. Okay, regarding the investment climate, I can first mention that Burkina is a very safe and very hospitable country. I think that especially the two countries are a long history of connections and so on. And for instance, I must say that actually there is a lot of Ghanaians working in Burkina Faso in the mining sector, as you know that you are much more experienced in the mining sector. The second point, openness to foreign investment. I can mention that there have been reforms made in Burkina Faso to make the country more attractive to international investors. Also, the World Bank's Doing Business October 2016 report has ranked Burkina Faso as 146 out of 190. We are trying to improve the investment climate. Okay, also Burkina Faso is cited as one of 10 economies that made the largest strides in making the regulatory environment more favorable to business. Also, the country has been ranked fourth for countries narrowing the distance to frontier. Okay, in 2010, there has been a revision of the investment code, offering tax and custom exemptions as well as exemption from value-added taxes. Okay, the 2003 mining code has been revised and adopted at the National Assembly on 26 June 2015 to better capitalize on our mineral resources and create a more favorable climate for the mining industry. Also, privatization bids for both local and foreign investors. Bids are published in local papers, international magazines, and so on. These tables present the Burkina Faso's economic indices, where you can see a TI corruption index, World Bank Doing Business ranking, and MCEC control of corruption, VICC fiscal policy, and so on. Okay, that is a diagram from CNUSE showing the direct foreign investment towards Burkina Faso in million US dollar. You can just see that from 2006, it has been a very big jump, a very big increase in the direct foreign investment towards the country. Okay, actually, you can say that we have an incitative mining code with some advantages during exploration stages. For instance, exemption of value-added tax, industrial and commercial tax, commercial and industrial profession minimum flat rate tax, and so on. For an exploration permit, when you get it, you have 3 years, and you can renew it 2 times for 2 years. Also, there are some advantages during the development stages. Exemption for VAT for equipment imported and equipment locally manufactured. During exploitation, we have also a lot of advantages. Mainly, the permit is renewed for a consecutive period of 5 years until exhaustion of the deposit. And also, you have exemption for 7 years for industrial and commercial professions minimum flat rate tax. Okay, as mentioned previously, since 26 June 2015, we have a new mining code that has been adopted. And this new mining code has some added value in terms of sustainable development, in terms of good governance and transparency. The new mining code reaffirmed the membership of Burkina Faso to the Initiative for the Transparency in the Extractive Industries. In terms of local development, the new mining code is implementing a local development mining fund for the financing of local and regional plans of development. That is very new in the mining code. Also, the mining code tries to more develop the national expertise in terms of services or goods supplies and in terms of training of local workers. Also, the protection of environment is being reinforced. From now, any application for mining permit must receive a favorable opinion from the Minister of the Environment. But before, the opinion of the Minister of Environment is just an advice. It's not something mandatory. But now, the Minister of Environment has to say, okay, the project is good, can go forward. Let me present now Burkina Faso geology and mines. In terms of geosciences data availability, we have a lot of maps at different scales. 1/500,000, 1/200,000, with aerial photo interpretation and ground checks, geochemical databases, airborne mining digs carried out over the eastern and western halves of the country. In terms of geology favorable for mineralization, we can mention that the BEGIMINE system is represented in Burkina Faso as well as in West Africa. And we have about 3 major Birimian limestone belts in the south and west of the country. And in terms of gold occurrences, about 7 districts are being described. And all these data are available at the National Office of Mines. That is a regional geology map showing the geology of the country, with about 30% of Birimian. Okay, this is a map showing the deposit and occurrences in the country. That is, the occurrences are pointed out in red, small points. Mainly, the geochemical maps gives information regarding gold. Gold has been people have been focused on gold more than other minerals like base metals or uranium. Okay, since 2008, the country has become a mining country with some mines in operation. Currently, 6 to 7 mining companies, all industrial gold mines in production, and one holds an industrial zinc mine. Let me start first with Isakan, that is the biggest gold mine in Burkina Faso, which is owned by IAMGOLD from Canada, with about 3,500,000 ounces of reserves. And until end of 2016, about 2 million ounces have been produced by this mine. Okay, the mine still have some good reserves, about 3 million 110, that is 10 that is missing, ounces of probable reserves. The second mine is Société des Mines de Tabaco, Sobita, owned by a Russia-based company called No Gold. Tobacco production increased by 34% in 2016 to 111.2 thousand ounces. It's also a good mine with good reserves. The following one is Bisa Gold Mine that is owned by the same company, No Gold. Those companies who already fully paid back the investment 21 months after the launch. I think that in terms of economics, that is an interesting thing. And as at the end of December 2016, the mine still have about 2,222,000 ounces of measured and indicated resources, including 1,972,000 ounces of proven and probable reserves. The same company owns also Tulip, that is in fact an extension of the Bisa Gold, with an average annual production of approximately 120,000 ounces for a life mine of 10 years. As at the end of December 2016, the mine still have about 1,628,000 ounces of proven and probable reserves. Following mine is Burkina Mining Company, BMC. That was first owned by Endeavour Mining from Canada. The company has mined the Yuga initial 970,000 ounces reserves gold mine for 8 years mine life. I must mention that Yuga is close to the border with Ghana, and personally I was involved as a geologist for the discovery of the Yuga deposit. But actually the Yuga mine has been bought by MNG, a Turkish company, and the first initial reserves has almost been exhausted, and MNG bought the remaining plant, and MNG also bought another project, Balogo project, and actually MNG is producing gold from Balogo project and treating it at the Yuga installation. But Balogo, it's a small project, just about 100,000 ounces. But the advantage of the deposit is the grade is quite high grade. Semafo is not really big deposit, but the production is going well. They are well organized and so on. So Semafo is a Canadian company. And actually, Semaphore still have about total measured and indicated resources of about 2,756,000 ounces. The average yield is about 3 grams per ton. Société des mines de Belaouro, with the Inata mine, which initially had 944,000 ounces of reserves. The mine had produced about 125,000 ounces of gold in 2012, 118,000 ounces in 2013, 86,000 ounces in 2014, and 75 ounces in 2015. You could notice that from 2012 to 2015 it has been dropping. It has been dropping, and unfortunately the production was stopped on 8 May 2017. The main reason pointed out is that they don't have any more money. But I can also add that there were a moment they had a problem with graphitic ore, and they have not really been able to sort out this problem. The Karma open pit gold mine, which is a relatively new mine. The first gold production started in April 2016, and the mine has about 5 million ounces total resources, including 0.9 million ounce reserves for a 8.5 years life of mine. Ross Gold Salou SA, which is owned by Canadian-based Ross Gold, with the Yaramoko mine, with initial proven and probable reserves of 1,996,000 tons at 11.83 grams per ton, making the mine a world-class mine in terms of grade. The production started in June 2016 for a mine life of 7.4 years. That were the 7 gold mines always in production. And I can just add the zinc mine, the Nantu mining mine. Nantu mining is owned by Glencore Strata from Switzerland, with 910,000 tons of zinc. It's an underground mine. The mine has been started production in 2012 with an expected mine life of 15 years. Okay, I can just add that the grades are about 13% of zinc, with about total and probable reserve of 3.8 million tons. Okay, on this map you can just see that around Burkina there are a lot of gold mines in Ivory Coast, in Mauritania, in Liberia, Ghana also. Also, Burkina Faso has some advanced projects that are interesting. First, I should mention B2 Gold Corp deposit, Kaka deposit, with 3,890,000 ounces. It is a Canadian company. The second advanced project is owned by Ozone, that is also a Canadian company, with a gold deposit at Bombori of about 4,560,000 ounces resources. Also, we have Ampela Mining, which holds a 3,250,000 ounces resources deposit at Ankara. Teranga Gold of Canada, which holds about 4,900,000 ounces of resources deposit at Amphora, including 1 million ounce proven and probable reserves. Also, we have the only deposit owned by Endeavour Mining of Canada. A mining license was granted in 2015 to that company, and the mine construction is being advanced as to date. You can notice that a lot of mines are owned by Canadian companies. Also, again, Semafo, which holds the Bunga Gold deposit. The mine construction started in 2017. The construction is underway with first gold pour scheduled for the second half of 2018. And as at end of December 2016, the deposit has 9,567,000 tons at 4.15 grams per ton, or 1,276,000 ounces of proven and probable mineral reserves, and the total measured and indicated resources, exclusive of reserves, of about 207,000 ounces. That is the Burkina Faso's geology in terms of mines in operation, advanced project, and so on. But I can also mention all the advantages that the country has. The country is still not totally explored, so there is a potential for making new discoveries. The potential for gold is not well known and is really underestimated. Also, the investment for exploration for gold is relatively low, even if all the country has been covered by exploration works. But when you compare the figures with international or other countries worldwide, you can notice that the investment has been relatively low in the country in terms of exploration. We can't speak just about geology and mines without speaking about infrastructures that would be an advantage for getting access to mining. Okay, in terms of geography, the country is located in the heart of West Africa, bordered by Ghana, Mali, Ivory Coast, Niger, Togo, and Benin. We have some relatively good accessibility to exploration and mining areas. And we just have a short rainy season from July to October. In terms of infrastructures, some alpha roads from Ouagadougou towards exploration and mining areas. In terms of energy, that is a bit a problem, but the country is trying now to sort out that problem with implementation of reform with the objective to improve the energy cover of the country. But usually when we have mining operation, usually the companies have their own electrician group provide in terms of energy. Also, I can add that in electrification development funds, for an electricity access rate of 60% in 2015 versus barely 20% in 2008. So there has been a big improvement in terms of electrification. Also, we have projects including renewable energy promotion. In terms of comparative advantages, gold potential. The country is ranked second best potential after Ghana in West Africa regarding unexploited gold deposit with 34 million ounces. In terms of production of gold, Burkina Faso is ranked third in West Africa after Ghana and Mali. But in terms of remaining potential, Burkina Faso is second after Ghana. In terms of mining policy, the country has been ranked 6th mining potential in the world regarding the mining policy, according to Institute Fraser in 2010-2011 annual survey. Finally, I can mention that we have a very competitive fiscality. So in conclusion, Burkina Faso is a safe and very hospitable country open to foreign investment with comparative mining potential advantages, very comparative fiscality advantages, and I think that Burkina is a country to invest in the mining sector. Thank you.
I noticed that you indicated in your presentation that you're trying to improve the generation and supply of power, if I got it right. How much do you pay for power, or how much does the industry on average pay for power in Burkina Faso? Per kilowatt, yes, for kilowatt hour.
You did not mention about how you are going to meet your local content, because you talked about how the resources and everything, but how do you get your personnel to work in the mines?
Thank you. For the first question, unfortunately, I don't have a correct figure. But what I can say is that the energy is expensive compared to Ghana or Ivory Coast, knowing that we have been supplied in terms of energy by Ivory Coast and also by Ghana. The second question, that's a very, very, very good question. That's a matter of policy. In the mining code, the new mining code has tried to sort out that problem by making mandatory for the mining companies to get a training plan for local workers. And previously, there were just suggestions, but it was not mandatory. So we have not been getting our local workers trained. But from now, I think that it will be in implementation, and then there will be training programs mandatory for mining companies, so that progressively Burkina Faso workers can take the lead in terms of operation in the mining sector.